Yeah, to me it seems like it's the best of the like animal class. Yeah. Elwood loves it. Theory in the regular season, yes. Oh, another season. Okay. Oh, the mics are live. Hello, chat. Mics are live, I guess.
It's time once again for the playoffs here in the area Lodgebox series. My name is Funiconi here with Hunter Sleppy, and we're going to be coming the playoff round number 2 of 5 here for the Lodgebox series. We're going to be at the Charlotte Roval. Earlier this week, Hunter, we saw that there was some elimination, some guys getting in, some guys just missing out. I feel like we're probably going to see something here with a slightly close points battle on the cutoff, as well as some guys that are in must-win situations.
Absolutely, Finian. We saw it Monday night, the tight points battle. Some drivers getting in via having a good run here, like we saw Monday night with Brad Slaughter. We're live here for the Area Lodgebox Series. The Charlotte Roval 91, the cutoff round. So we will eliminate 4 of the 12 playoff drivers here after the checkered flag flies.
Absolutely. Happy to get underway. We saw some great racing throughout the week between the next-gen cars and the truck series. And now here at the Xfinity cars, which we were just talking about before, these cars, honestly, in my opinion, race the best, especially on the road course. I feel like they handle, they're a little bit more predictable in some cases, but they're also a little bit big and blocky. So I think they're going to be, for some of these guys, a bit of a handful.
Yes, it will for some. We saw it once again occur Monday night. Some of these guys struggling to keep their car on the track, some going over the curb and downshifting and whatnot. But as we see, we got 5 minutes left in the session, and the driver on the top of the practice sheet is James Scioli. Now, Scioli's already locked in because he won last week, but he also won the only road course race of the season that we've been to so far, and that was Circuit of the Americas. Led all but 2 laps in that race, so this is a race that the number 7 car can also win, but he could sweep the round because, like I said, he won previous week at Homestead.
Yeah, speaking of which, actually, let's take a look quickly at our points coming into tonight. As you just mentioned, James Scioli winning last week at Homestead, Miami, so he's locked in. No word for him. It also helps that he could potentially just get another win just for the sake of it. Alan Elwood also very much to the good. Shane Terry and Cameron Hearn and Davey Hendricks sitting pretty good. Once we get to Brian Sinizak, though, it gets a little bit more cautious because 6th, 7th, and 8th they're all just 3 points ahead, and in Fambro and Grant's case, only 1 point ahead of the cutoff. Richard Thomas right on that edge in 9th, trying to get in to the cutoff inside the top 8. Rick Christensen, Travis Beckner, and Forrest Smith in pretty much must-win situation because there are only 21 guys here tonight at the moment, and they're going to need a lot of points.
Absolutely. So those guys, 10th, 11th, and 12th in points they're basically a must-win in. But Monday night we saw that 12th in the points was Brad Slaughter, 19 points out. Somehow, some way, he made it to the next round of playoffs on a 3-way tie. And Sim, 19 points behind, is Travis Beckner over there, 11th in points. And he won Tuesday night as well, so he's one to look out for. As we shift over now to, this is actually the Truck Series standings after Homestead. It's tight in the trucks too. We just had to go over that, but staying with the trucks. Travis Beckner won Tuesday night here at the Roval. He also won in the Truck Series at Circuit of the Americas, but in the Lodgebox Series, he money shifted on the first lap at Circuit of the Americas. So maybe the 28 of Beckner will find a way to not money shift on the first lap here at the Charlotte Roval, as he's currently 5th quickest on the board, but we mentioned 19 points out. He's basically a must-win in with only 21 cars in the field.
It's also got a lot of right-side damage to that car.
He's been off-roading.
Yeah, that car's seen better days, and he's just riding on the apron now. But I do think for Beckner, he looked pretty good all week here, and obviously had a lot of practice this week as well. But he's going to need, he can't just be fast, he's going to be blisteringly fast. And again, with Scioli, you mentioned taking the only win at in this series on a road course at Circuit of the Americas earlier on. So definitely has the advantage in that department, and he's been wicked fast here all week.
Well, a little too fast there with the heartburn turn and over there in turn 1. Here's another car to look out for. David Weishart got a top 5 in the Cup Series at Circuit of the Americas, and he finished 3rd Monday night here at the Roval, and he's currently 3rd quickest on the practice chart right now, the highest of those not in the postseason. But 33 of Weishart also one to look out for in tonight's race.
Yeah, a bit surprising to not see him in the postseason. As I mentioned, just missed out.
No, he originally wasn't going to run the full season. He was just going to run a
Oh.
couple of races, and then over time, he found more time to to race in the series, and he just jumped up to second quickest on the board.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say
he's found more time to race in the Lodgebox series, and Weishart, he enjoys the cars, like you mentioned. It's probably the best car out of the series. As soon as I say that, he spins out. But he really enjoys racing the car, and he's been having a really solid run here over the last few weeks.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Elwood running in the 49 car, sitting in third. Gets very close to the wall there, off of turn 2. I don't think he is. I could have sworn I didn't miss him, but I'm pretty sure he's not running the other 2 series. He's only running in the Xfinity series, or not the Xfinity, Lodgebox series.
Lodgebox series. Yes, he is only running in the Lodgebox series, but he is also one to watch out for on the road course, because back in season 1, he won on the Daytona road course, and he has an average finish of 2.6 on the road courses in the Xfinity series.
Yeah, I also know from the past, I was just about to say Elwood's not one to scoff at on the road courses as he tags the wall. Perfect timing there, Alan. But he's definitely, I've seen him in the past, race against him in the past. He's been quick on the road courses, and it makes sense why he's in the top 3. And just about 20 seconds left in practice here. Practice coming to a close. Scioli, Weishart, Elwood, your top 3. Will they be on the top 3 in qualifying? Because that's going to be the big thing, right? It's not just about, getting that hot lap once. Is you only have 2 attempts of getting a clean hot lap, which is want to emphasize that. A clean hot lap around here, which is not easy.
Yeah, it is not easy. There's plenty of instances that can deem the lap ineligible if you go off track in some portions of the lap and scrape the wall a bit, cut the corner at all. It's just you have to be flawless whenever you're qualifying.
And speaking of which, getting down to it just now, qualifying open. We'll see who takes the track first. Looks like it's going to be Cameron Hearn in the 67, wasting no time to get out on the racing surface.
Cameron Hearn is only plus 10 to the good. It's in there in 4th. There's a possibility that if he has an off night, he could be eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, that's one of those things, right, where you have to, for him, he's got a little bit of a buffer, but at the same time, you don't want to rest on your laurels. And you definitely don't want to have, and we saw it on Monday, that one driver ended up crashing out lap 2, got eliminated because I think it was actually Garrett Grant, if I'm not mistaken.
Garrett Heath.
I knew there was a Garrett. Knew there was a Garrett. This is the other Garrett.
That opened up the door for everyone behind the cutoff line. And like I mentioned, Brad Slaughter, 19 points now, dead last. He needed to have a solid race. He did. He got top 5, and via 3-way tie, he got into the next round. So it's doable, but in tonight's race, I feel like Rick Christensen, Travis Beckner, Forrest Smith with the points gap there. Looking at, they're all going to basically need a win to get in, but only one of those guys can win, and who knows, maybe none of those guys win. Maybe it is the 67 of Cameron Hearn.
Yeah, it really could be anyone depending on how it goes. We've seen fairly tame races over the last 2 series that have come here. Some very minor instances in between. You never know, third race could be where everything kicks off. These guys have been doing a fantastic job out here at the Charlotte Roval, putting in some solid laps. Cameron Hearn starting his first flying lap, coming through a little bit tight, almost tagging the wall. And we're talking about it also, that this section especially very much like a street circuit.
Yeah, it feels like it. It's flat in some parts. It's bumpy and fully banked in some others. As we'll look here, and on the bottom right, you can look at the different gear and whatnot that Cameron Hearn is going through.
See back end kicking out as he crests over the hill, back down, back over another crest. You see him get very close. Everyone getting very close to the outside wall, and just the exit the Roval, and the wall on the entering turn 1 on the oval, and then coming back down, flying around the inside of the oval, and onto the back straightaway. You got to be careful to pick your braking marker. Usually the 5 or the 4, maybe the 3 if you're really feeling brave. But down through the gears, and then back up, gets fairly close to the wall on the exit, and then comes flying back onto the oval.
Yeah, but then you don't want to mess up here on the front stretch chicanes. We've seen some drivers go over that a little bit too hot. We actually saw that from Cameron Hearn on Monday night. Went through a little too hot trying to complete a pass, entering this part of the track, and spun out. He comes across the stripe now, complete his lap. Currently quickest. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll see that change. Still got 7 minutes left in qualifying.
Yeah, one of the only guys to put a time down, 122.6 the time to beat for everyone else. And his drivers start to put in some decent lap times. Going to take a look at Colin Fambro, where he is on the track. Oh, he's just kind of cruising on through. Coors Light on the hood of his car. It's a fantastic. I've been saying it all week. These guys have fantastic paint schemes. I feel like some leagues have like always been, you know, like every league we've done, it's gotten a little bit better. But I feel like these guys, I haven't really seen one bad paint scheme across the entire league. The week we've been broadcasting, that's like a big thumbs up because all these cars look fantastic.
Yeah, well, this is the series where like half the cars are designed by Elwood. I mean, he's really great with his designs, both on the car and for some of the broadcast stuff that we do, like some of the graphic designs that he does. Just really talented overall. And that's also a talented driver, not with graphic design by any means, but on the racetrack behind the wheel, Weishart quickest here at the Roval.
Getting roasted for his painting ability, but not for his driving ability, as he's currently sitting on pole, as you mentioned.
I'm not 100% if he paints or not. That's what I said. If he did paint, then whoops.
Taking a Colin Fambro getting up to speed now. I think he's going to start his flying lap. James Scioli, though, I think we're going to keep on him because I think he is on a flyer. And he was on the top of the timesheets in practice. So expect to see him up near the top of the field unless he made a mistake, which you never know. It could happen, especially in these chicanes. Asking a stock car to brake on a dime is a very tricky thing to do, especially trying to do that quickly.
Yeah, don't want to overdo the brakes here because we saw it Monday night as well. Car get in too hot. I believe it was Alan Balancino. Got in too hot, went through the turtles over there on the backstretch chicane and ended his night.
Flying through chicane, looking nice and orderly. So you can just take a little bit on entry, a lot of curb on the exit. And across the line for the number 7 machine. That's going to put him up on pole, 121.6.
That is a quick time there for the number 7.
Colin Fambro, meanwhile, working on the second half of his lap and getting interested in where he's going to end up because he is cutting it close. Again, we mentioned only 1 point above the cutoff, tied with Garrett Grant. So he's going to definitely need a good night because also Thomas, that is Richard Thomas, is also in the hunt as well, sitting in 9th. And he's currently sitting 9th on the timesheets as well. So that's the man that Fambro needs to beat.
Yeah, looking back at the points, really, I'd say from 4th through 9th in the points, they're all really on the cutoff where, like, one
Fambro.
bad mistake. Oh, and we just saw a mistake there from Fambro getting out of the backstretch chicane.
Yeah, I saw him get on the gas and spun the tires a little bit loose. I guess he felt it wasn't worth completing the lap, and it might because once you complete that lap, you really can't reset for a second. So I think he figured he'll just go back in, get back out, and try to put another clean lap in. But again, he's got to make sure he nails this lap, otherwise he's going to be starting from the back.
Yeah, you don't want to put yourself in that position because he's only +1 to the good, as well as Garrett Grant. Words are tough sometimes. Garrett Grant's also +1. Chris Ironfine doesn't have to worry about points. He is not a Lodgebox regular, so he can just cruise on by the number 45.
And cruising, he's just doing his out lap now, I believe, or actually this might be his first time lap. As he works up through the infield section, the number 45 machine. Oh, he's gonna get close to the wall. Yep, you can kind of tell when someone runs a little bit too hard through that section. He seems just gassing up. I think he's a little frustrated that he hit the wall there. When you gassed up just a little bit, you kind of realize about 2 seconds before you're gonna hit that wall.
Yep, and that's one of the dangers here about trying to be flawless. Just that one mistake, and the whole lap time gets eliminated.
We're right on board with Colin Fambro, one of the only guys on the track about to set a hot lap in. And still curious where he's going to end up. Didn't actually see where he ended up in practice, so...
I believe he was around 7th.
So, okay, I was going to say probably in the later part of the top 10. Sounds about right. So see if he can try to get close to that. And now the pressure's on, though, right? We talked about this as well. In qualifying, you get that one lap. The first lap, you can maybe set a banker lap in, then push the second one. But he's got all of his faith set in this one lap here.
Yeah, it needs to be. Otherwise, he's not really going to have a good starting spot.
Working on through, avoids the wall. And here's the tricky part now, getting on the gas. You don't want to hang it out too much. The last time around, he left a lot of trails off the rear tires getting up to speed. And then into the chicanes where you can make or break your lap, really, between both of these on the back stretch and the front stretch. Down through the gears. Take a decent helping of curb. You want to upset the balance too much.
Here.
And nice and gently on the throttle. He got through much better this time. So this lap could be good. And flying through 3 and 4, then back down the gears, find your braking point. Again, another nice helping of curbs across the line for Colin Fambro. Didn't see any off track, so the should count. 123.2, enough for 8th.
And there's all the chasers. They're all qualified in.
And you can see also mostly, oop, this is going to be interesting. I was trying to see where he was on the track, and I was like, oh, he's flying through the infield.
Yep. That'll happen over there.
So I think the 45 is going to have to whip out the backup car, probably the backup driver, too.
Yeah, you might be in concussion protocol.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I am an EMT, so I will say he's probably going to need to go to the hospital. But yeah, no, most of the playoff drivers doing really well. Out of the top 12, all but 2 are all playoff drivers. I think everyone else outside the top 12 are non-playoff drivers. So they've done pretty well in qualifying. See if they can perform and do well in the race here as we're just about to get ready for gridding.
I was about to say, I'm looking through. The only 2 playoff drivers that I don't see are Rick Christensen and Forrest Smith.
Yes, I think Smith is not here. I don't remember seeing Richardson either. Or Christensen, sorry. Yeah, I don't think they are here.
Oh, and Simon Fine he just alerted us in the Twitch chat. I'm okay, just a minor headache. 45 will be good to go in the race.
Glad to hear. Thumbs up. Driver's okay. Always want to hear that. I'll cut live here, and we'll go through your starting lineup here in just a little bit. Starting on pole, as you mentioned, James Scioli, the man to beat. Really fast time. We'll see if Alan Elwood next to him has anything for him, starting off in 2nd place. Back another row in 3rd, David Weishart in the 33, and rolling off in 3rd. Travis Beckner, 28th, in 4th.
Then in row number 3, Cameron Hearn in the 67 going to roll off P5. P6 is going to be the number 5 of Derek Grant, both playoff drivers. Grant only 1 point above the cutoff line, needs a solid run here, as does, these 2 drivers over here in row 4. Davey Hendricks rolling off 7th. He's plus 10 to the cutoff line, and Colin Fambro going to roll off 8th in a number 54, plus 1 to the cutoff line.
Yeah, very close. He needs to have a decent night. Moving back, Ryan Swan's going to be rolling off in 9th in the 8 machine. Richard Thomas next to him in the 1. Again, is on the outside looking in by just 1 point. He's got Colin Fambro starting literally right in front of him, so he's going to definitely keep an eye on Fambro. Moving back another row, Bryce Senizak going to be starting in the 09 and 11. Shane Tarian back in 12th in the 38.
Then over here in row 7, the number 77, the Jordan Martin, going to roll off P13. 14th going to be Jose Ruiz in the 23. Then over here with row number 8, going to be Joey Chapman and Chris Seidenfein, 15th and 16th.
Yeah, I think actually everyone back from 16th, I think, didn't put a time down. So Charles Canadian going to be rolling off in the 97 in 17th. Matthew Rodriguez started next to him in the 57 in 18th. Joshua Franks back in 19th, and rounding out your top 20, Jacob Hudson with Carter Coop, rounding out your 21-car field here at the Charlotte Roval.
Looking through the chat, a reason for Forrest Smith not in the field tonight, out with his girlfriend celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday.
That's a decent excuse.
For Forrest Smith, yeah. It's great. It's great. I don't blame him.
I think she'd be really angry if she had to sit and watch virtual race cars.
Yeah.
For her birthday.
Yeah, so hope that all goes well tonight for Mr. Smith.
We'll check a quick look at the weather as well. It's been pretty much the same all week long. About 120 71 degrees on the track, 74 degrees in the air. I wish it was 74 degrees in the air now with the hot heat wave coming through. Make sure you guys stay hydrated at home because that heat is killer.
It's gonna be a mess, especially at Pocono this weekend. Which, by the way, I am heading for the weekend at Pocono Raceway. It's gonna be like high 80s, maybe low 90s, but it's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone has their liquids replenished, mainly water.
Yeah, I was going to say the good liquids, the helpful liquids.
Yes.
I don't think alcohol is going to really do you many favors.
Not going to do a favor for your wallet.
No, definitely not. The field rolls through the chicane. It's going to have James Scully again leading the field down. Done very solid on the road courses this season and this week in general. See if he can do it again. Doesn't really need the win, but I think with the pace he's shown in practice and in qualifying, definitely probably going to be the man to beat tonight.
This would help heading into the next round for the number 7 if he does pull off the victory tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do. Pace truck moving off to the left side. Is going to make the turn on a pit lane. Field in control of the number 7, leading them on down. Everyone getting bunched up together. 35 laps on tap for tonight. Working through the chicane and on the gas. We are green here at the Roval. Field making the way for the first series of turns. Scully up by a little bit over Elwood, Beckner, Weishart, and Hearn, your top 5. And Field actually already getting themselves very orderly.
I would say Beckner wasting no time moving in the third over the 33 of Weishart. He's basically going to need a win, and he's only 2 spots away from that here on lap 1 as we look out the back of the CNC log at number 28.
Yeah, and again, we do have that competition caution as well. That's going to come out the end of lap 11. Pits closing at the end of lap 9. So that's what the strategies where some of these guys are going to aim against strategy-wise, see what they're going to do entering the pits, if we're going to see any strategy. So Beckner doesn't need to completely force the car. He can know that the competition caution is going to bunch each other back up, but definitely he's going to want a solid position. As Weishart in behind is not making it easy. He's hounding the back of them.
No, he's trying to. Yeah, although he is running just to have a good time, he also wants to do good and win in at number 33. So he's going at it for wins. We already saw him win at Rockingham. He definitely has the capability. Oh, both getting into the wall. Beckner and Weishart. He's going to let the 67 of Hearn go through. Not quite.
Nah, he's going to make him room. He's going to make him work around the outside. Hearn's going to still be on the outside entering turn 3. It's going to be a little bit tough. You can see Hearn sliding on the tires. Not enough grip just yet. Weishart going to make it on through. Ooh.
Yeah, that was a close call there. And Ryan Swan is stuck on the turtle over there in turn 1. Going to put it in reverse, and we'll have a replay here of what went wrong for the 8. Oh, he just wheel hopped it, trying to get it slowed down. We saw this in the pre-race with Davey Hendricks in the 94, on the backstretch chicane. Ryan Swan qualified good and was running inside the top 10, so tough to see Swan that go for the number 8. Looks like you need a toe back.
Yeah, he did need a toe back. So he actually beached himself on the curb, which is you kind of wouldn't think you'd be able to do in a stock car. But those curbs, man, they are a lot worse than they seem.
Yeah, we saw that with Scienfine after his qualifying lap was done. They are not kind.
Going back to Beckner, that was a bit surprising. You can only see some damage, a little bit of damage to the right side of the machine. On the rear, you can see the wings sloped off a little bit. Not so much to the front, but yeah, it was that opening lap. I saw him and Weiser enter a little bit hot, and they were a little bit hot on exit. Much better that time through. Doesn't look like they hit the wall or had any problems that time through the chicane. So they're going to continue onwards. Jose Ruiz, I just saw him lose a spot or 2. Not sure if anything happened there. I don't think anything happened there.
Rolling tough. He's been solid throughout his tenure here in Area iRacing in the Lodgebox Series. Led a lap in his first ever race at Auto Club. And he's done nothing but improve as the season has gone on. Road courses, not too much to his liking, but still putting up a solid effort over there in the 18th spot.
Yeah, it's 2 cars directly ahead of them. One close battle that's brewing, though. Colin Fambro, Davey Hendricks, and Garrett Grain. You can throw him into the mix as well. All playoff guys, all just about on the cut.
Yeah, all these guys are needing good runs. Believe only 2. Well, no, all 3 of these guys can make it. Oh, and Fambro getting a little bit wobbly there in the back of NASCAR 2, and Hendricks going on by as they head down into the backstretch chicane.
Yeah, Hendricks smelling blood in the water. Took the chance, got the spot. He's got it defended, though, still. Fambro still in behind, but got a decent run off the corner. So I think on 94 looking on the up and up. And meanwhile, Richard Thomas in behind them. He needs to get ahead of these guys. Yes, he got some left side damage. A decent amount of left front damage to his car. Not sure where he got that. Maybe with the wall, but not how you want to start off your night.
The driver right behind him also needs to probably get in front of all those guys. Bryce Senesak, the Andrew Knight plus, +3 to the cutoff line, and he's currently behind all those guys that need to be in front of him. So it's going to be tight all the way around from Cameron Hearn over 4th in the points to Richard Thomas and maybe Travis Beckner, because Beckner winning, he's in, and he's running in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, coming back up to the leaders. A little bit of separation between them. Beckner riding about 2 seconds in behind. Oh, and just as we cut to him, a tap to the wall. Oh, does he tap it again?
What you want to see.
Almost tapped it again. But yeah, as you mentioned, exactly what you don't want to see. And unfortunately, usually a lot of the times we go cut to people, they're doing well, and then they have something potentially horrific happen to them. Not too much damage that time through. That wall is tough because, again, the racing line comes up right to it. Beckner really tough into the chicane, really far into the chicane. Almost compromised his exit, but managed to get it back going. But Weishart now cutting back to him.
You know, Beckner's giving it his all, trying to get the most out of he can from that number 28. As we ride on board with the 33 of Weishart here, closing in on that bumper of Beckner.
Yeah, you can see visually closing in as well. This 33 starting to look a little bit faster. Beckner looking like he might be starting to fall off a cliff and into the clutches. And he's got 2 guys directly in behind him. In behind Weishart, we have Cameron Hearn, who's also trying to look for a good solid run.
Yeah, if Hearn stays out of trouble, like if he just runs in 5th for the whole race, he'll be good.
I'm curious, I assume the 67 and the 28 are teammates. I'm going to assume that.
Yes, they are.
Okay. I was just purely going off the liveries. Otherwise, that'd be a hell of a coincidence. But I'm curious, though, with Hearn, right? Because Hearn is in. He's, again, close to the cutoff, but not too terribly close, and he's having a decent run in 5th. Do you think he would want to go ahead of Beckner, or do you think he's going to try to let Beckner stay in front?
I mean, if he's faster than the 28, I don't see why he would.
Well,
I'm just
saying points wise, just to give him a better shot. I know he's a bit Beckner pretty much is almost pretty much has to win. But do you think he would try to just sit behind the 28 just to give him that extra spot?
I don't believe so. Got close there on the backstretch chicane, the entry. Beckner got a good exit off, but we'll see the 33 and the 67 close right back in.
Yeah, flying the chicane. Ooh, Hearn really hot. And remember, we were talking about it. He's already made a mistake here earlier in the week. Had to give up a huge amount of time. Looked like he backed off enough to just make it on through, but I think he compromised his exit a little bit. Going on back to Davey Hendricks, who's trying to catch up to Garrett Grant. You can see a bit of a cluster forming in behind the number 5.
We're getting closer to that competition caution, and that would really work out for the number 1, or actually for the number 8 of Ryan Swan. He's the only car 1 lap down, and if that caution comes out, that's going to be his only chance at getting a free pass back on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's because I had also potentially a chance to fix that car, although with the way the cautions are here, he might spend most of that time just making that lap up. The car has definitely seen better days. Actually, I think he's not too terribly far from the leaders as well, and if that car is driving any way it looks, it's not going to be driving fast, so he's going to have to hope that caution comes sooner rather than later. Because he might go a second lap down.
You just stay 1 lap down. That will help his race.
So looking at the Scioli and Elwood, gap now 3 seconds, and then back to Beckner. It's another 3 seconds, so 6 in total. So leader's starting to get strung out a little bit here. And really for Beckner, is there really anything he can do? I mean, he can obviously, I guess, try driving harder, but is it, I mean, do you feel like there's not much reason to push in this early stage?
In the early stage, I mean, you want to maximize the most that you can out of the car for the shorter run, because we are going to have to pit, but he's already pushed the limit too much a little bit. He's gotten into the wall a couple of times, and there might be some significant damage on that right side that might require some repair, but that 28 car is already taking a beating.
Yeah, and also one thing I also don't particularly like riding on board with him, I can hear a lot of tires squealing. It's particularly 2, 3, and 4. I heard the tires squealing the entire section, and what I mean by that, you can just hear the rubber rubbing on the track, so the tires wearing off quite a bit. So I think he might be using them up a little bit more. I think that's why we're starting to see the 33 approach more and more into his mirror. Oh, he's looking a little squirrely into chicane as well.
There's the entries that's like really close with the 28 of Beckner, but he gets a good exit off both on the backstretch and the front stretch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he doesn't really charge them in a way where it does look like he's about to completely miss it, but does manage to make it on through, riding on board with Weishart in behind, trailing him down. So trying to make some progress. Same thing with Cameron Hearn in behind in the 67. Your top 5.
About 2 laps before pit road closes, so the completion of lap 9. Basically, once it hits lap 10, that's when pit road closes, and when the completion of lap 11, when lap 11 gets completed, the ticker changes to lap 12. That's when the caution will come out, and that'll be the only caution of the event.
Yeah, I'm curious to see when we're going to start to see guys come in. I feel like we might see a taker or two this lap, and probably more the next lap. Question really is always, who is going to be the one to bite and come down pit lane?
I feel like it might be the leaders. It's going to be either Scioli or Elwood. It's going to lead the charge.
Now the gap also 5 seconds, too. He's in another zip code. Whoa, that's a car going flying through there. Hello, Joshua Franks.
Oh, that's the 9 of Josh Franks. The 9 has obviously gone a lap down, and that's not what the 8 of Ryan Swan wants to see. Josh Franks has lost the front of the car.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure where he had that happen. I guess that explains why he's a lap down, but just came in a little bit too hot, went flying up and over the curbs. Luckily for the leaders, he just got clear of the racing line.
Barely. See, they had to take an abrasive move to get out of the way. He's still trying to handle that number 9 car. It is not looking good for him. Meanwhile, in the back, you see some drivers making their way on the pit road. Alan Elwood. So that was either going to be him or Scioli leading the charge. It is the number 49 of Elwood. Got the CNC guys back there. Beckner, Hearn, they are all down pit road. Got a couple more guys in the back. Davey Hendricks, looks like Richard Thomas. Looks like all the Elwood guys came down pit road.
Yeah, again, not too surprised to see all the teammates working together. Imagine discussing in the Discord what they want to do strategy-wise. So they're all gotten service to their car. Meanwhile, Scully, you can see working on through NASCAR turn 1 and 2. And this is going to be his final chance to pit this time by. Afterwards, he's going to have to wait till the competition caution to come in. So see if he does decide to bite, if he does want to come into the pits.
He undercutted in Monday night's race and got in front of the 91 of Jake Nichols, and that's basically what gave the number 7
here he comes.
to Scioli the win. So we'll see if this works against him tonight, because we saw Elwood lead the charge down pit road. We'll see what the 7 to Scioli does. Weishart's going to stay on the track.
Interesting. I always love seeing when the leaders do different things. Makes things interesting. So Weishart, as mentioned, going to stay out. Garrett Grant in behind, currently in 3rd.
He's going to stay out as well.
Yeah, majority of these guys staying out. Fambro, Senizak.
This is an interesting group. Grant, Fambro, and Senizak all staying out, all needing solid runs to make it to the next round of the playoffs. Going to have to keep an eye on those 3.
Yeah, again, the guy trying to get in, Richard Thomas, he came into the pits, and he's trailing them. So it's always an interesting thing. I'm curious also if some of that may be due to trying to just copy what the other does. Maybe just to make sure that they're not too off sequence and they can race them out on the track. But Senizak actually trying to make the pass happen on Fambro here, looking a little racy.
trying to get close. I think the 7 of Skyler is actually off of pit road, but 09 on the bumper of the 54, looking for that third spot, closing in quite a bit.
And Skyler actually, yep, he's in behind. He's just in behind those guys who are fighting out. He's currently sitting in 5th, just about 5 seconds behind those guys, and 20 seconds behind the leader, David Weishart.
Came out in front of them, so he uppercutted them. They tried to undercut, and he uppercut him.
Doing a good job in the strategy department, making sure he doesn't get undercutted. But actually, looking, there's a decent amount of cars that didn't come in. So pretty much half the field came in, half the field's gonna come in during the competition caution. So interesting mix there, and also interesting mix of names too, because some guys at the front, some guys in the midfield, and both departments. So this will be interesting to see how this shakes up, especially with the points on the line for guys on the cutoff like Fambro and Senizak, who we mentioned.
Right now I'm looking at the top 4 have yet to pit. Jordan Martin hasn't pitted. Joey Chapman, Carter Coop, Matthew Rodriguez, Jose Ruiz. Believe those are the only cars that did not pit. Ryan Swan's still 1 lap down. Actually, the free pass car is Jacob Hudson in the 22.
Yeah, his car also has seen better days.
Yeah, but if he continues running in this 18th position and stays the first car 1 lap down, he will get the free pass.
Yeah, he's got 20 seconds back to Joshua Franks, who's the next guy. That was the gentleman who we saw spinning around and spun around in the opposite direction in the backstretch chicane. And it doesn't look like his car is going to be able to catch him anytime soon, unless the 22 makes a mistake. But David Weishart working through NASCAR's turn 3 and 4. And we'll come down through the chicane and bring the field to caution. A solid run for the 33. Again, deciding to stay out. We'll see if this is going to be a solid move for him as he comes across the line.
He finished in the 3rd spot Monday night and said that tire wear wasn't a big factor in either the COTA race or the previous Roval race from Monday night. So not sure if tire wear might be a reason that the 33 car is staying out. Maybe he thinks the tires can go all 35 laps, but who knows? Garrett Grant, teammate, Bell Weishart Esports, they're in the 5. And then Fambro and Senizak, those are the 3 that we're going to have to keep an eye on, because Weishart isn't the only one that stayed out. It's also those 3, and those 3 are fighting for a lot more than that 33 car.
Exactly. So that's going to be the really big thing, right, of, you know, where do you want to position yourself? And again, these guys all decided they pretty much want to come in together. Again, I do want to keep an eye. Richard Thomas, he's going to come out ahead of these guys because he came into the pits early on. So he's trying to position himself ahead of these guys just on track position. But the others are going to have fresher tires. So I think Thomas is figuring he's on the outside looking in, needs to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that one car can make it, because all the Elwood guys, they've been pretty quick. And Richard Thomas is the only driver from that team who has yet to win a race this year. And he might not make it to the next round, but if he has a solid run tonight, he will make it into round number 2. As we look at the 20th of Travis Beckner, he could be the race winner tonight if he has a solid second half in this race. But he's had some contact with the wall. Not sure if he got that damage repaired. He's actually just going to cut that part of the track's under caution. So not that big of a deal, but we'll have to see if the damage is repaired on that 28, because he made contact with the wall quite a bit in that opening stint.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it hitting that wall just before exiting onto the Roval. And that wall is tough because it's solid concrete. It's not a tie barrier or a safer barrier, so you're going to hit that. When you hit that wall, it does a lot of damage. So again, and the thing is, though, you can try to fix it, but I don't think he's going to risk it, right? Especially considering he's sitting in 3rd. They might get maybe 1 or 2 seconds of damage while he's just getting his normal pit stop service, but I think he's just going to get back out there as quickly as possible. He should cycle out to 3rd once the leaders all come in to pit, namely the top 4, and then a few other drivers in behind that also need to make their pit stop for the evening under this caution.
Yep, lap 13 of 35 here. Caution in the Charlotte Roval 91, presented by Elite Entertainment. We would like to thank Elite Entertainment for their support of the Elite Entertainment Cup Series, and from all of us here at Area. Be sure to check out Elite Entertainment on Facebook and book them to DJ your next event.
Everyone getting lined up here, trying to look and see. I think really the man to beat, I feel like we both know the man to beat tonight's probably going to be this man right here, the number 7, James Scioli. Yep. He looked pretty quick in the... Sorry, you got it.
I was going to say, he was quick in practice. It's either going to be him or I was going to say the 49 of Allen Elwood. Really, those two guys have been solid in the opening run. But Elwood has drifted back 3 seconds or so behind the 7 whenever those guys decide to come down pit road. And the next driver up would be that 28 of Travis Beckner, who is an elite driver. Still got a little bit of damage there on that car. You can see it there on the right rear, but we'll have to see if he comes back down pit road to repair that damage, and we'll have to see what the top 4 do. Some of them might stay out.
I'll be genuinely surprised if they stay out. That would be an interesting call. Maybe not one I agree with, but again, I always say I'm in the booth for a reason, not on the track. And it looks like Weishart, at least, looks like he's getting ready to come in. Here we go. Pits are open. Weishart, Grant, Famro, Senizak coming on down as we predicted. Ooh, I thought we saw Elwood thinking. A little bit of a cheeky fake down to pit lane. Then Jordan Martin coming in. Joey Chapman, Carter Coop, Jose Ruiz, Joshua Franks.
Josh Franks in the 9 as well coming down pit road.
And also that's because
Charles Canita, I think he's out of the race.
Yes, he is out of the race. He was out of the race 5 laps ago. Didn't get a chance to see what happened to him.
There is the 22 of Jacob Hudson getting his lap back. The only driver who will get a free pass tonight after the competition yellow, because after this, it's just green flag racing to the finish.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, speaking of green flag racing, the start completely clean, the initial start at least. No incidents there. Some minor incidents, obviously, throughout the rest of the race. But in the other two races, we did see just a little bit of carnage. You know, some beating, some bagging. A car or 2 spun around, but completely clean for this series. We'll see if the restart is going to be similar to that. But here's pretty much the revised order now. James Scioli again taking the lead, and then looking on back. First drivers to come into the pits this time is David Weishart, and he's sitting in 8th. That's not terrible.
No, not too bad, but we'll have to see what the newer tires do compared to the older tires, if track position is really going to be that much of a factor, because it was a factor for Monday night, and really with the next-gen car, we'll have to see how that translates over to the Xfinity car.
Yeah, I want to think that these cars do have a little bit more tire wear, but the question is it enough tire wear to offset that position? Will he be able to kind of climb his way? Because he's got a muscle. I mean, he's got to get past those cars. Then they're not going to be easy. You know, there are a few pit corners you can make past him, but there's also some you just kind of have to sit stuck in behind. And then also considering the fact he's got Colin Famro. I mean, these guys, Colin Famro, Garrett Graham, Bryce Senizak, they're just going to be pretty much racing each other, probably more so than the guys who are up ahead on older tires. So this could also have the chance to potentially get ugly, depending on how bad these guys want to make sure they make it to the next round.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't think they're getting the one to go this time by. It might be next time by.
Oh, okay. And also Richard Thomas, too, we're talking about him. He came in early so to give himself some track position. So he's sitting to the good. I would imagine, if I can do some basic math right, he should be in as they run. But again, he's on those older tires, and you got to imagine, does he have enough pace to hold off the 3 of them, Famro, Grant, and Senizak, when they come charging on through?
Yeah, Richard Thomas, that's going to be the one to keep an eye on, literally, the one.
Feel working their way around. Let's see if we get one to green this time by. Truck flying on through the chicane. I can imagine a pickup truck flying through at speed like that.
That would be nuts.
And it does look like we're getting one to green this time by.
I think they're going to go green with 20 laps to go when they cross the stripe. I believe.
That sounds about right. these guys back up to speed. Trying to look if anything else is anything else crazy in the order. And Joshua Franks working his way around. I think was trying to fix his car up. Didn't get it fixed enough to the point where they added the front bumper back on, so at least on the bright side, he's gonna have some extra cooling. Again, considering it's fair, it's somewhat hot, not really that hot. So, speaking of hot, let's take a look at the weather again. Air temp 74, track temps come down about 3 degrees. You saw in the Truck Series race on Tuesday, it actually came down to almost 100 with some cloud cover late in the race, so that made things a lot cooler. I'm sure the drivers like that a lot more. We'll see if we see some cloud cover in this race, adding more to the grip levels. Jacob Upton's actually still working his way around. He's still 30 seconds behind the leaders, so...
Wow.
Oh, I think that was due to him probably having to come and get service to his cars. I don't know if he actually might catch them.
Gonna have to use up some of his new tires though, just to catch back up.
Yeah, 25 seconds. He's actually gonna see them probably on the oval. Now they can see them on the oval. Gets on the gas, saying, "Oh no."
He's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna make it." Nah, I think he'll make it.
Do a Kyle Busch start.
Yeah. Just cut the front stretch chicane and go there.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Phil getting lined up and ready to go here. Scully, the man to beat. Elwood, another chance on the outside. I think he's going to have to try to make something happen on the restart. We're talking about him. He fell off a little bit on that last run. Maybe he's hiding. Maybe he's saving the car till the second stint now where he can push. We'll see if the 49's got anything in store. And again, also Travis Beckner, we're talking about him pretty much in a must-win situation. He's got 2 quick guys ahead of him, but he needs to find some sort of way around. And he's running out of opportunities. He's got 20 laps to try to make something happen here to get that final playoff spot. See what's going to happen here. Just about 20 laps to go here for the area Lodgebox series. Coming up to the restart. 7 bring them very slowly this time. And finally gets going. Elwood, poor start on the outside. Beckner has the shot to get the second. Hearn taking advantage, trying to throw it up the inside for 3rd place.
Oh, Beckner's going to throw it in. Oh, he just got the second spot. I didn't know if he was going to hit the bumper of Scioli, but Elwood, he tried to time that restart because it's all fair square whenever that pace car rolls into pit road. He tried to time it, it didn't work out, and instead the 28 of Beckner now 1 spot away from potentially moving on in the playoffs.
Yeah, very, very solid move by Beckner for Elwood. I think just got out a little bit too wide on the start, and I think Scioli caught him off guard when he started to accelerate, so Elwood was caught napping. But Beckner all over the back of Scioli. I'm curious if he's going to maybe try to set up maybe for a cheeky pass into the chicane. He's right there on the back bumper. He has to try something.
Don't want to use up the tires too much, but I feel like he might have to send it in a little deep here as they work their way down the backstretch into the backstretch chicane. Right on the bumper of the 7, close to giving it a little tap. Back off there as they head out of the backstretch chicane. And the rest of the field, 1 car going over the turtles. It's Carter Coop in the 52.
Oh, and
he flew over those turtles twice.
And a huge amount of damage to him. We'll take a look and see what happened. Came flying on through in the background. I think just completely overshot the chicane. Yeah, you see him jump over the sausage curb, then over the turtles. Somehow didn't collect anyone in it. I think that was a miracle that no one else got involved. Because he came through like a wrecking ball.
Alan Balancino from Monday night, almost similar to that.
Back up to the leaders. Beckner still closing in. You're talking about saving your pace for the long run. I don't think Beckner's thinking about the long run. He's thinking about
with what he's done in the short run with, like you mentioned, it's wheeling the tires, using up. Oh, he got a little sideways there. We'll ride on the in-car with him, but as you mentioned, from the first run, he was squealing the tires a lot, using them up a good bit. So he's up a position now after that initial start, so he's gonna use him up even more now, trying to get that lead.
He's got to be careful, though. He can easily fall back, and then once he starts falling back with the way he's driving, those tires are going to be overheated and not going to have a whole lot to catch the 7. He's going to be careful here as he enters into the chicane. Just saw change for position. I think Weishart just got ahead of Davey Hendricks for 6th place, so he's already started his climb up forward. Remember, Weishart, the first of the guys on fresh tires. After that competition caution here, he actually comes up on the back of Richard Thomas, trying to hold on to 5th place, and then right behind them, Hendricks and Fambro starting their duel again.
Yeah, really interesting to see how it plays out with the drivers on the newer tires, if that's going to affect the later portion of the race, or if it'll just be basically from track position like we saw in the restart.
Going side by side, Weishart to the inside of Thomas into turn number 1. I think Thomas really doesn't feel like fighting, doesn't feel like he's got what it takes to fight, but the fight now, he's got his 2 main competitors in the points in behind him. I don't think he's probably going to give them the same treatment.
Well, one of them, that's a teammate. Davey Hendricks right behind him. They're both teammates for Elwood Design Esports.
Well, you see how much he likes his teammate here, as actually Fambro now trying to look up the inside of Hendricks through turns 5 and 6. Couldn't quite get his Toyota to the inside. And behind them, Chris Seidenfeiten, after he went for his wild ride in qualifying, he's up here trying to fight with these guys for 8th place.
Chris is just enjoying the view out the front windshield right now. Any mistake that happens in front of him, he can capitalize on it.
Elwood.
I started moving up to 4th. Elwood down to 5th.
Interesting change of position there. Didn't even fight it. Pulled on over for the 33. Back up with the leaders. Beckner's to 6th, now 0.7 of a second behind, so he's starting to fall back a little bit.
Might have to start taking care of those tires earlier. Better later than never.
And look at
Still
everyone.
close to that 7.
Look at everyone close together. Here comes Thomas. Did not get a good run off the corner. Here comes Hendricks to the inside. Fambro looking to find his way also on through. Can't quite get there. So Hendricks will get on by for 6th place.
Out the view from the bumper of Davey Hendricks. Fambro, boy, he's still trying to make a move. He's going to try right here in the middle of the 3 and 4, underneath the 1, close to making contact. You're going to be side by side down this little short chute here into the next set of turns.
Through turns 5 and 6. Ooh, even Seidenfeiten, he's a little bit wide. Almost went off to the grass there, that yellow and red car in behind. Here comes Fambro up the inside, now back to the outside, the 45. Also trying to put his nose somewhere. This can get ugly
big
here.
wiggle and side-by-side action back there. The 38 of Shane Therian and the 09 of Bryce Senesac. Therian was plus 18 to the cutoff line, so if there was any day to have a subpar race or an average race, it would be this one for that 38 car.
Yeah, not been doing particularly well, just hovering outside the top 10. Trying to see, I mean, he's got most of the drivers he could potentially pass right in front of him. We'll see if he can do anything with that. But still looking at Fambro, trying to get past Richard Thomas. Again, 1 point separating both these guys. But everything's going to count here. Although again, technically, Thomas is still to the good with Senesek back in 12th. Ooh. Oh, hello. Something happened here.
I think the 7 might have blinked out a little bit and the 28 jumped up to it, but
Oh, yeah, he did blink up.
They're just blinking in and out. But Beckner's still close.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think something did happen to the Skyola. Maybe he got distracted by seeing that red bar, the internet bar potentially go off. Maybe missed a corner thing, because he was about 0.6 of a second up. He's back to it now, actually. And he closed back down to almost 0.3 of a second. But Beckner, again, he's really pushing. You know, yeah, as you mentioned, he's going to have to start saving soon.
He's encouraging the blinking. He wants to see more of it. Because eventually, if it gets out of hand, they're going to have to ask the driver to park the car to fix the blinking issue.
Seidenfeiten, I think, had some trouble just off the corner, dropping back to 11th now. Taryn and Grant able to get on by. Colin Fambro still working on the number 1 car. I'm actually a bit surprised he hasn't been able to get past Thomas. I thought this would have been a little bit of an easier pass.
Could be setting up for it here. This is the closest he's been to that 1 car.
Is he going to go?
The...
Has the look.
Going to settle back in behind. That was the closest he got to the bumper of the one. Maybe try to get a better exit here off turn 17 and down the front stretch into turn 1. Not quite going to sail
He's
back in line.
just not close enough. He's like right in the range where he could dive, but I'm sure he definitely doesn't want to take the one out. Doesn't want to get him past that way. Ooh, the one though, a little bit sideways, entering turn 3. Now through turn 4. Traction off. Thomas is just managing to keep him in behind, which I obviously imagine is his game plan. Try to keep the 54 at bay as much as possible. A little bit of traction, loss of traction off the corner. Great fights happening throughout the majority of the field. Biggest battle really for 7th and 8th at the moment.
Yep, and we've crossed the halfway portion of the race, so with 15 laps left, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our top 10 rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements that can help improve your focus and gaming. You can use discount code AREA iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off your entire order. We will once again like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles for their continuous support of AREA iRacing as we ride with the 7 of James Scioli, the current leader. He's been the dominant car in tonight's race. He already won last week at Homestead. He already won earlier this season as well in Circuit of the Americas, and another one wouldn't hurt for that number 7 car, but it would definitely help for that number 28 of Travis Beckner running in the 2nd spot. He needs a win to get in to the next round of the playoffs. At 19 points back, had a little bobble there, keeping the car going, but he's going to need to finish 1 spot in front of that 7 to win.
Yeah, I was going to say he is really, he's really pushing the car hard. I was going to say he in the last 3 shots, you just see his car sliding into the frame quite literally, trying to catch the 7, but you can just see how much he's struggling with the tires now. I think way over 10 because he's been sliding on, forcing the car to his bidding, trying to catch up. It's not quite enough though. In behind them though, Cameron Hearn, his teammate in the 67. There he's starting to actually catch up to Travis Beckner in 2nd place. Ooh, having a little bit of trouble getting through the gears there. It sounded like he was had some trouble, but going to make it on through the chicane, having a solid run from 5th up into 3rd.
Then over to 4th, we got the 33 of David Weishart, the highest driver not in the postseason, and the highest driver on newer tires. He pitted under that competition caution right on the bumper of Cameron Hearn for the 3rd spot, but he runs in 4th. He finished 3rd in Monday night's Cup race, and we'll see if that carries into the last 13 laps for tonight's Charlotte Roval 91 for the Lodgebox Series, and running in the 5th spot, atop of those that don't have a win in the playoffs, Alan Elwood entered tonight plus 35 to the good. Already knew that he was basically a guaranteed lock if he showed up tonight, and he did just that. Running in the 5th spot hasn't been the race that the 49 of Elwood would have liked, but it's still a solid one inside the top 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, like you mentioned, it was looking like he might have had a shot of the win, but it also doesn't really quite need that, so not going to force the issue. Davey Hendricks sitting back in 6th in the 94, having a pretty solid run up to from 7th to 6th, just trying to stay ahead of his main competitors, those being Senizek, Fambro, Grant, and Thomas, doing good pretty much in all those departments, so he's getting the job done. Well, that being said, though, Richard Thomas sitting in behind, and I got to give an applaud to the one car. He's putting up much more of a fight than I thought he was going to even just be able to put with slightly older tires, but we're seeing tire is not exactly everything. So Thomas doing a really good job, but he's got that 54 breathing down his neck.
Yeah, Colin Fambro right behind. He was only +1 to the good, so Fambro needing every spot that he can. He can get a couple right in front of him if he can get close enough to making a move, but like you mentioned, Richard Thomas making it difficult for that 54 of Fambro to get around.
Yeah, they're actually even catching back. Thomas actually catching back up to Davey Hendricks, so he'll give you a pass between the teammates again. Back out behind them, Garrett Grant, another driver just on the cut, currently sitting in 8th in the point standing, just 1 point over the cut. Ooh, and actually just up ahead. We'll cut quickly. Pass for position between these two. No, Fambro thought about having a look, couldn't quite get it done. But Garrett Grant also needs to get in the mix and just move up spots just to make sure he's not on the cutoff line.
And then over in the 10th spot, Shane Therian in the 38 plus 18 to the cutoff line. Only 10th in tonight's race. Not a strong showing for that 38 car, but looking forward to next week, I'm sure he is, when the Lodgebox Series heads over to Martinsville. That's going to be a fun one. Short track, short temper. It's going to be a blast. But we still got 12 laps left here in the Charlotte Roval 91. Fambro still running in the 8th spot, trying to get around Davey Hendricks and Richard Thomas, but Thomas is the closest in sight for that number 54.
Yeah, Hendricks now starting to break away after the one caught back up. I think now Thomas got to shift focus back to his mirror again. As I'm sure, I think Fambro was trying to see if he can spook that position out. Ooh, one guy that got spooked in the chicane. Hendricks offline and slow. Here comes the one going to find the outside. Ooh, almost a hip check from the 94. Here we go, side by side.
This might open up the door for Fambro to get around the 94 of Hendricks to the outside over there in turn 4 on the NASCAR oval. Gonna have the inside line heading down the front stretch
Fambro
chicane.
hot, Fambro hot.
Him and the one of Thomas go off. They're gonna have to stop on the track. They both went off.
Yeah, they're both going to have to give up a huge amount of time. They got to be careful, though. They can't go too far on because once you go through certain corners, it adds more time on your penalty. I think they're going to have to peel off to the left-hand side here and potentially slow down or not. Haven't slowed down just yet. Whoa, Fambro sideways in the background. He's going to spin it. Almost spins it, just saves it, but not before losing more spots.
It goes from bad to worse for the 54 of Fambro. He's still trying to keep that car straight.
Yeah, actually, I cut out of the replay animation because he's still struggling. Let's take a look at what happened initially. I think just came in a little too hot.
94 trying to move up to block the 54, and Thomas knew that it was coming from somewhere, whether it was the 94 or the 54. It just got in a little too hot, and Fambro just followed right in his tracks. Haven't seen the one slow down just yet. He's still running. Actually, he's behind the 94 now.
I wonder if he's arguing or pleading with the admins to potentially clear it. Because he was trying to avoid an incident. So, yeah, I'm not sure how that works out with the admins, if that's going to be A-okay or not. Because had he not backed out, that was definitely the right call. If he didn't back out, he would have been collected by the 54. So, and by the looks of it, he definitely didn't give up any time. So he's going to continue running there. Don't know if he has a black flag or not, and whether or not it's cleared.
Well, after all that, the 64 or the 94 stays in 6th, the 1 stays in 7th, and the 54 of Fambro down to 11th. Not what he needed to see.
Yeah, he's really off the pace. I think just again pushing the tires a little bit hot, and also you saw him squirrely. Oh, he's almost gonna cut the grass there. Almost went flying around in turn 3 again. There's Senizak, another driver he's competing with for the spot. So it's gonna be the next guy he's gonna have to try to chase down in the 09, but also looking up a little bit further ahead. Beckner falling off a cliff, and this is not too surprising. 6 seconds behind, and not only that, he's got his teammate, the 67 of Cameron Hearn, to worry about, as well as David Weishart, both closing in.
Too far behind, the 49 of Alan Elwood trying to close in with the 2 in front of him, Cameron Hearn and David Weishart. We'll ride on board with the 49 of Elwood and see 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all in front of him, and he's all trying to get all he can to get around those 3.
Yeah, I'm sure he's definitely going to try to give it an attempt, especially with the 28 in front. I would argue the slowest of these 4. I think because he's just been pushing the tires, and also because he's been on the tires the longest. In fact, Weishart the freshest tires, 5 laps newer compared to Beckner, Hearn, and Elwood.
28's been in the wall as well.
That too as well, yeah. He's still been managing, but for how much longer he can. 9 laps, that's a long time. It's 12 minutes. He's got to try to hold off 3 fairly quick drivers closing in on him. I mean, like he said, though, he does kind of need a win, so maybe he fears that, you know, because he's not in that win spot, and also no one else, none of the championship drivers have wrecked out yet. It might not even be worth fighting, so we'll see here. I'm sure he's going to probably fight for every single position he can, but his car is probably going to give up before he does, if anything.
And something can happen to that 7. Like you saw him blinking earlier, he could eventually disconnect from the server due to internet issues. We've seen that happen before in this series and throughout area. So it could happen to the 7. He's trying to get all he can to stay in front of the 3 drivers behind him, all trying to get around the 28 of Beckner for that 2nd position.
Yeah, although that wouldn't be the first time we've seen the leader disconnect on SimTV. It's happened in another Cup series. Was leading the race, a driver known for having internet issues. Unfortunately, it hit him while he was in the lead and close to the finish. As Elwood actually gets back around Weishart. And it looked like Weishart actually led him on through there as well. So interesting, these guys playing very nice with each other. So Weishart now back into 5th, Elwood back up to 4th.
And then in front of those two, the two CNC logging guys running 2nd and 3rd here. Just a little further up the road, there is Cameron Hearn in the 67 and Travis Beckner in the 28 right in front. This is your CNC Logging Battle of the Race. We would like to thank CNC Logging for their support of the CNC Logging Truck Series this season and area. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, CNC Logging is your place to go for any of your logging needs. Got wood? Big or small, summer or fall, we'll cut your log guaranteed. CNC Logging. Figured it was a perfect time to do that, considering they're both running 2nd and 3rd on the track right now, both running in the CNC logging cars, and they're both pretty fast.
You can almost say that was planned. I'm sure though both of these guys would have loved to have been in the lead while that rate-off was happening. Unfortunately, Scully almost 8 seconds up the road, so it's going to be tough to try to catch back up again. They really need him just to make a catastrophic mistake or someone to cut his internet off.
For one.
Ooh, and here comes Elwood. Big dive. Big dive to the inside in turn 1. He's going to make it, though. He's really hot. Compromises the exit. Here comes Hearn back on him. Gets that spot back. Great over-under. Oh, Beckner up ahead drifting.
They are in similar paint schemes.
he's struggling, though, with the tires again. He's asking more from them, but I think they already gave them all they could. And now these guys are all on his bumper.
Fifth, all right there. Beckner getting loose. Here comes the 67 of Hearn on the bumper, trying to look to the inside. Beckner really loose, trying to stay out of the wall. He's leading the conga line out of the infield section into turn 1. He is still loose. He might let the 67 go. No, not quite.
I don't think he's in a position to let him go. If he lets him go, he lets all of them go. Here we go. 1. Are we going to go 2 wide? Are we going to go 3 wide?
They're going to split him. Oh, someone's got to get in too hot. It might be the 28. It is the 28. Travis Beckner runs it wide through the backstretch chicane. Knew something had to give there, and he's going to let all 3 of those guys go by. Knew something had to give, and now Hearn 2nd, Elwood 3rd, Weishart 4th, and Beckner down the 5th.
Oh, his battle's not done yet. Elwood's looking really hungry. He's sitting quiet. I was wondering why he was sitting back in 5th. I guess he's waiting to use the tires now. He's got a lot of grip, it seems, a lot of speed. Trying to see if he can muscle past Cameron Hearn for that 2nd place spot.
Weishart just chilling in the back, watching everything unfold in front of him, and Travis Beckner trying to regroup and manage whatever he can out of that number 28.
It's going to be tough. I don't know if he's really got much left to give to really catch back up, and he's only got he doesn't actually he has about a 13-second gap back to Richard Thomas, so I think a top 5 is definitely going to be as well. I shouldn't say definitely, it's probably going to be where the worst that Beckner ends up again, unless his tires really start to fall off even more so than before. But back up to this fight, Elwood over the back before they even get to the oval. He's going to have an advantage here. He's going to get just a little bit of slipstreams, not a whole lot, but might have enough of a run to make a lunge into the chicane. Actually, not this time. He did not get a good run off.
Don't want to be too aggressive here if you're Elwood, because Hearn's only plus 10 to the cutoff line, so really if he just continues running what he's doing right now, he'll make it to the next round. But if Elwood gets in a little too hot and gets into the back of Hearn, it could potentially cost the 67 a shot at moving on to the next round.
Yeah, like you said, we talked about it, just that one mistake, if it takes out of the race, leaves a lot of spots open to other guys who are still trying to fight for them. That's the last thing you want to do, is give that opportunity. But here's the opportunity for Elwood, looking up the inside into turn 1. Oh, he's going to door. Oh, 67. There it is. In the wall hard.
That is not what Cameron. Oh, and Beckner clips him as well. That's not what Cameron Hearn wanted to happen. He's still in 5th. But he's a little more ticked off now. I
would imagine so. And that was exactly what we're talking about. Well, exactly what he did not need. See what happened? Elwood pretty much just got in because he came in really hot, got put in the wall. Hearn just trying to shift it back around. Beckner came flying in because he's also doesn't have a whole lot of control of his car at the moment because he's dealing with old tires right on board with Hearn. See what happened. You can see there's Elwood. Yeah. Not much Hearn could do, and then Beckner coming in.
Almost assisted the 67 back around. Hearn's still in fifth, though. Like you mentioned, a big gap between Beckner and Richard Thomas really is what is saving the 67 right now. And he's fortunate that David Weishart didn't get into him or Travis Beckner got into him even more, because that could have ended both of their races. So he's going to have to manage with what he's got, the damage on that 67 car, but he's going to keep that one in the memory bank for sure in the future.
I mean, hey, we go to Martinsville next week, right? So what a great place to give payback at, is that a short track. And, I mean, that car does look drivable, and it doesn't look like he may need to come into the pits for any meatball flag. There's no required repairs, so he can continue on out there. And I think, again, he has got a decent gap to work with, and I think he can lose a few more positions to the point where he may really have to start worrying. So I think he's in an okay spot. However, this may not be okay for much longer. Here we see Garrett Grant lurking up the inside, sliding through to try to get to the inside of the one to make a move. We've seen this one of Thomas, hard to pass, and is going to continue to be a thorn in the side for many of these drivers.
And Davey Hendricks also plus 10 to the good, so he really needs to continue running where he is right now and possibly avoid the carnage that might happen in front of him. The 5 of Grant closing in on the 1 of Thomas.
Bumper.
Going to give him a little bump here.
Oh, Hendricks.
Thomas going to give a bump to Grant.
Everyone giving bumps to each other. Where is it going to end? Here comes the 5, going to try to look up the inside on the exit of the Roval. This is going to be a tough place to make a pass. Manages to muscle on through. He's going to get it done, but Thomas, though, he can get back in behind and try to dive it up back on the chicane. We'll see if he's going to risk it.
He might have to.
Here we go in the chicane. Looks like he's going to play it orderly for now. I was surprised. I was almost expecting just to give him a little bit of a shove, get him off kilter a little bit, but gets a really solid run out of the chicane.
I'll say you might be waiting for the front stretch chicane to make the move. 3 laps left here at the Charlotte Roval. Time is ticking down for some of these guys if they want to move on to the next round of the playoffs, like Richard Thomas closing in on Garrett Grant. He needs to get around that 5 if he wants to have a shot at the postseason. And one car in the back, might have been Jacob Hudson, just blew through the front stretch chicane. Saw him knock down a couple of cones.
Yeah, that was indeed Jacob Hudson. He's down 2 laps down after getting that wave around. Is not having a good night. Whoa! Almost looped it there. That was dangerous.
Keep the car straight.
Good job there, good car control. Cutting back to that battle, though, for position. Don't want to really pull away too much from it. This is one of the closest battles on the track. Richard Thomas still running good in 7th. Lost that battle to Grant. I don't think he has much more for the 5. And he's still got the 94, Terrian in the 38, and Bryce Senezak sitting in 10th. Meanwhile, Colin Famro still trying to catch back up. I would really start to be worried if I'm the 54. So remember, we're talking about he's only 1 point to the good over Thomas. And after that, there's not much else. So he's in behind. I think he might be potentially eliminated here.
He might be on the hot seat because Beckner was a must-win, and he's not in a position where he's close to winning. Rick Christensen for Smith did not make it tonight, so really might be not Rick Christensen, sorry, the 54 of Colin Famro, who is on the outside looking in once this is all settled.
Yeah, again, unless something happens here, we got 2 laps to go for these guys, and anything can happen, considering how close they are. So if we see something like what we saw with Cameron Hearn, cars getting wrecked and spun around, not much is looking good for the 54 of Colin Famro at the moment.
See if the 1 is saving his tires left with whatever he's got for that last lap, because that's what it's going to come down to. And there's quite a bit of positions in the track where he can make that move if he wants to get at the 5.
Yeah, thing is, though, I don't know if he's going to be willing to risk it. Again, it's kind of hard to do the math of the points in your head while you're driving on a road course. It's a very tough thing to do. I mean, ideally you want to just get as many points as possible, but it's gonna have to weigh in. Is it worth risking a penalty or damaging your car, or getting yourself in a position where you could be taken out? We'll see, though. Thomas tries to get a decent run back on the 5 here. Battle for 6th place.
He's really closed back in on that 5 as the 7 of James Skylerly takes the white flag. One final time around the Charlotte Roval for him. So literally half a track behind is the 5, the 1, the 94. They all need solid runs if they want to move on to the next round. But it might be that 54 Fambro who's on the outside looking in once this is all said and done.
And we're just talking about the mistakes. Can't afford to do it. Can't afford to make them. It can cost you a playoff spot and a playoff chance at the championship. White flag now finally for Grant and Thomas, working their way on through nose to tail.
But really tight racing there as they're working their way through turns 3 and 4. 7 of Scioli has a comfortable lead. So he's working his way down the backstretch in the backstretch chicane for the final time.
Yeah, I mean, not really much to report from the 7. Sorry, I haven't kept the camera on him. Nothing really particularly interesting because he's just gone out there and dominated this race. Up 13 seconds back to the 49 of Alan Elwood. Not much of a story for Scioli. I think he might like it that way. It was a fairly easy drive for him, but definitely well earned as he rounds through the final chicane. It's going to be James Scioli coming out and on top here at the Charlotte Roval.
He's going to get first easily. We move on back now to Alan Elwood, who's going to come home second if he gets through the final chicane. Looks like he will. David Weishart right behind, going to finish third once again in that 33. And then, Travis Beckner might lose fourth here to Cameron Hearn. Hearn's going to
be tight.
big send.
Big send and a door.
Oh, they touch.
Oh, they're about
Hearn's
to wreck.
going to get the spot away from Travis Beckner. And then in the back, Garrett Grant, Richard Thomas. They're going to come out P6 and P7. Davey Hendricks with 8th. Therian, Senesac. And then it looks like Colin Fambro on the 54 might be the odd one out in 11th.
Yeah, we'll wait on the points tally to call it. But as the last of the lowest finisher of the 10 playoff drivers that participated this evening, I think he's probably going to be the one going home empty-handed. But for James Scioli taking home the win, solid drive for him, and definitely solid drive. I really got, if we had a driver of the day, either between Scioli or Richard Thomas, because Thomas did a fantastic job. And we look back and remember the strategy earlier. I think him pitting early, giving himself some track position, I think that might have been the winning call for him because he actually started the race in behind them. He started in 10th, moved up 3 positions into 7th.
Yeah, Thomas did all he could do. He entered tonight's race just 1 point outside the cutoff line. Needing to have a solid run and needing the Travis Beckner, number 28, not to win. And he did just that. He got a solid run. Travis Beckner had a shot, but the tires just too much, too overcooked for that 28. And Richard Thomas with a solid run. The 7 of Scioli hits the wall. Going to pass post-race inspection now as he celebrates in the South Beach Heat, number 7.
Doing burnouts, well-earned victory for the number 7. I imagine he definitely likes this place because he's done pretty well. Pretty well this week. I think he hasn't finished lower than 2nd all week.
Oh, absolutely. He's one to mess with on the road course, and that is the last road course race of the season for Area iRacing.
And yeah, we'll go through quickly. Go through your unofficial results here. James Scioli, again, as you mentioned, taking home the win over Alan Elwood, David Weishart. And look at that, David Weishart spoiling the party there. Everyone else in the top 10 in green in the playoffs except for him, spoiling the party but doing fairly well. Cameron Hearn, Travis Beckner, we saw them teammates door-to-door, side-by-side at the line in the chicane. Give me Hearn ahead of Beckner, who gave it his all, was just short though, couldn't quite get the win. Grant, Thomas, Hendricks, Therian, and Senesac rounding out your top 10.
Yep, solid runs there inside the top 10. And then Colin Fambro, the only playoff driver not inside the top 10, coming home 11th. Jordan Martin, Jose Ruiz, Carter Coop, and Chris Seinfein rolls out the top 15. Then the rest, Joey Chapman, Jacob Hudson, finished the race multiple laps down. And then behind those guys are those who did not make it to see the checkered flag. Matthew Rodriguez, Joshua Franks, Ryan Swan, and then Charles Canida over in the 21st and final position.
Yeah, again, a fairly clean race again for the most part. I think the incident with Hearn, I think, might have been probably one of the biggest incidents we've seen all week long, with a car sitting in the middle of the track. Luckily, it was happened where there was a gap in traffic. Otherwise, that could have ended a few drivers' nights.
Oh, it definitely could have. Cameron Hearn almost had his night ended with the contact he had from Alan Elwood. So, going to be interesting to see what Elwood has to say about that, because Cameron Hearn hasn't had good luck throughout any of the series for the most part of the season here for Season 2 of Area iRacing, so it'll be interesting to see what goes on from here.
Indeed, and with that, we'll start doing our interviews. David Weishart in the booth with us. David finished in third. I think that's where you actually finished on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, right? Came in third there as well?
Yes, I do.
All right, so in your case, 3 really is the magic number with 33 on the side of your car. But a really solid run. You had a chance there at the win, and it was a really solid battle up there for third and second place. We saw you also had a really good fight with a 49, but unfortunately couldn't quite stay ahead of him.
Yeah, my teammate James, like I said, Monday night, he's the road course ace. You know, I don't think anybody had anything for him. And then there was quite a bit of tire fall off tonight, and I'm not racing for points or anything, so I figured I'd just go on an alternate strategy and pit under the yellow, because I thought rear tires would mean a lot, and I just kind of burned them off early, trying to get through everybody. Alan was saving, he come back up through there, and there were some sketchy moments there. There were about 2 or 3 laps there that were iffy. There was one point I thought Alan, Cameron, and Travis were going to go 3 wide into the backstretch chicane, so I backed off there, and then I think Travis missed the chicane, and then I don't know what happened between Alan and Cameron. I really wasn't paying attention until I saw the 67 stopped in front of me. Sorry, my dogs are barking in the background, but
That's all right.
yeah, so we I don't feel like I should have finished third. Kind of lucked into it tonight, but you're going to have that sometimes.
Definitely are, and I don't think you're definitely going to be complaining about that.
No, absolutely not. You got to take them when you can get them. Obviously, you always want to win, but P3 on a road course isn't too bad.
2 nights in a row. Like I said, it must be a lucky number. Lucked into it. Number 3 might be a lucky number. 333, whichever one it is. We're going to Martinsville next week for all 3 series. No, you're going to be one of the first guys out there for Monday night in the Cup Series. What are your thoughts on that, not only for the Cup side of things, but for the Lodgebox side of things as well?
Well, like I said on Monday, I didn't really have any thoughts because I didn't know what we were going to do setup-wise. I turned some laps in the new setup, and it's pretty stable. So hopefully in the Cup Series-wise, we can get some green flag racing in. It's Martinsville. Who knows? It's a crapshoot. Just try to keep the nose clean, really. So that's what that's the strategy really for Monday night and Thursday night.
Well, David, it's a really solid run for you, even though it wasn't the win. Still just a solid run for points, even though you're not running for it in this series. But best of luck to you next week at Martinsville.
All right, thanks. Just want to congratulate my teammate James on the win, and thanks to Butt Kicker.
All right, with that, we'll move on to Alan Elwood, our second place finisher tonight. And Alan, well, we saw you had a fairly interesting... move myself. There we go. Accidentally somehow managed to move myself. Don't know how that happened. I think I was trying to grab David, and I think he left as I was grabbing him.
Yeah, maybe that was a set TV first.
Gotta say.
But Alan, gotta say, you had a fairly interesting night. First thing I guess you gotta ask really is what happened between you and the 67 of Cameron Hearn.
I had a bunch of unexpected wheel hop going into that corner. After the race was over, I immediately went and apologized to him because he knows I don't like to get into people. I don't like to cause incidents, and there was no need to actually get into one another. I mean, we were having a great battle, and you know he's worried about his points. I'm not. So you know, at the very least, like you don't want to have somebody get knocked out of the playoffs for something like that. And luckily, that didn't cost him. But yeah, that was just dumb move on my part. I saw the opening and I thought he wasn't necessarily going to be on the outside. I thought I'd clear him again, and he actually tried to stick it on the outside, and I wheel hopped, and we made contact. So, stupid move on my part, but sometimes you see the window and you're like, oh, maybe I can try to fill the gap and see if I can make the pass.
Well, a bumpy road to stack it, but nonetheless, it seemed like you were going to undercut the 7 of Skyly there before the competition caution came out. Didn't quite work out that way. Is there anything different that you could have done to try and get around the 7? I mean, you did pit before him, but he still got out in front.
Yeah, I was really trying to save my tires after that pit stop because I figured that if you try and burn him off too quick and get ahead of the 7, he's just going to end up passing you right back on the next run. So I was trying to save. I saw him really trying to save tires because you know how critical they're going to be, and I don't know that I could have done anything different going into this race. I don't think anybody didn't expect him to win. Like he's been the guy to beat on road courses recently, and so you know that he's got it down. And so you just try to run the best race you can, and hope maybe a strategy that you pull with saving your tires a little more will work out. But it didn't in the end. But we'll take a second and hopefully take the momentum into the next round.
Well, Alan, definitely hope you do have some luck into the next round. Solid second place, so you can do next week at Martinsville and for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, sounds good, guys. Looking forward to it.
Moving on, last but certainly not least, James Coyote going to be in the booth once again here after doing a pretty dominating performance. James, 15-second lead over Alan. How did you manage to pull it off?
Well, this car drives a lot different than the car on Monday, so I was pretty worried about it. The Monday car just doesn't burn tires at all. The Next Gen Cup car, it just drives so good around these road courses, and that's kind of what they built it to do. But this thing's a different animal. It just eats the rear tires alive, so you just have to kind of consciously, into and out of every single corner, just think about the tires every time, and you just can't slide them at all. Once you do, then kind of opens the floodgates. You start sliding a little bit more and a little bit more, and then the tires are gone before you know it. So you can think you're doing everything right and think you're saving, and they'll kind of burn them off. It's tough to manage.
Well, your night wasn't tough to manage because you were clear from all the chaos that was going on behind you. So really, I'm just going to ask about next week. We're going to Martinsville. Short track, short tempers. You're moving on to the next round, and obviously with the win from Homestead. Could you make it 3 for 3 in the postseason?
I really hope so. I think it's kind of going to depend on just qualifying good at Martinsville. Track position is going to be huge. It's going to be tough to pass, and I'm not sure what the setup's going to drive like, if it's going to be loose or tight, or how the rear tires are going to wear. So I think it's going to be, I think it's kind of going to be a little bit of a wild card. I think both races next round are going to be sort of a wild card, with Michigan being so drastically different than Martinsville. I think it'll be a really fun round to watch, but I am glad that I was able to get 10 playoff points going into it. That was huge for sure.
Well, definitely going to be a solid run for you, James. We'll see if you can indeed make it 3 for 3 next week in Martinsville. Best of luck to you for the rest of the playoffs.
Thank you, guys, and I just want to say a big thanks to Rick's Hot Sauce and Coach Skyoli at rickshotsauce.com. Will get you $7 off any purchase, and then thanks to Jacob Bell, David Weishart, Bell Weishart Esports. I think both my teammates were able to make it into the next round. I'm not quite sure on that, so hopefully we'll all be racing for a championship.
Indeed, best of luck, James.
The South Beach Heat is working.
It's working. Thanks, guys.
No problem. And with that, it's going to wrap up interviews for tonight. Trying to see if we can get a final points tally. I don't think they're quite added up just yet. It doesn't look like they're in, but I honestly would put decent money that I think Fanbro might be the driver that will be bowing out, and it's really unfortunate. But as you said, we're talking about it, the little mistakes here and there, especially when the points are so tight, you really can't afford to make any errors.
Yeah, I'm reading through for the points. It's looking like we might have another tiebreaker here for the Lodgebox side of things. It's going to be tough. Can't really disclose who's in and who's not in yet, but keep an update. I don't think we'll have an update on that for this current broadcast, so you're going to want to keep an eye on the areairacing.com. They're going to have the updated points after this broadcast is over, because they are discussing that matter right now and how they could potentially set the tiebreaker. So keep an eye on areairacing.com. Follow us on Twitter at Area iRacing, Instagram as well at Area iRacing. Going to be interesting to see who's in and who's not in after tonight's race is over. It could be 5 minutes, could be 50 minutes before we know who is in to the next round for the Lodgebox series.
It's kind of crazy that we had 2 tiebreakers with the points this week. It's kind of crazy, especially because one of them was a 3-way tiebreaker. Now we have just a double tiebreaker here. So it's kind of interesting to see just how close again with some of these guys are, and the way their nights happen even after 2 races to mix things up, end up somehow tied in the points. So yeah, like Hunter said, tune in to areairacing.com. It was
areairacing.com, and then under the Lodgebox series, they'll have the race results and the standings. You're going to want to click on standings, and it will show you the updated standings Whenever it gets out, we'll have to tweet an update from Area iRacing and see who's in and who's not in.
Indeed. Well, with that, that's pretty much going to be it coming here from the Charlotte Roval. This entire week of racing has been fantastic. Looking forward to seeing how it is for the rest of the 3 rounds across all 3 series. But for now, my name is Minikune here with Hunter Slepper. You're going to be signing out from SimTV. Thank you so much for watching.